Rams fans donned their blue and gold, cheering along Figueroa to celebrate LA's newest champs.
California's outdoor mask mandate is no more, but Angelinos can't let their guard down just yet.
If you are preparing to graduate, be ready to dig deeper for a cap and gown. We have the latest on graduation expenses.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Somebody make some noise for your Super Bowl champions!
History was made. Cheers were loud. The Rams basked in parade glory after last Sunday's big game.
Rams fans were out celebrating the team's championship parade, all in USC's backyard. Good evening, I'm Sydney Charles.
And I'm Cassie Esparza. Annenberg Media reporter Noah Camras is live at the LA Memorial Coliseum, where the parade ended.
Guys, I'm here as they are cleaning up following the Rams Super Bowl rally that took place here at the Coliseum just a few hours ago following the 1 mile parade around Figueroa Street. The crews have been cleaning up since we've gotten here, taking down the stage, moving the chairs, and of course sweeping up some of this confetti that has been all over the floor. If you came here right now, you would just see a sea of blue, gold, and white confetti everywhere, and it might take a little while to clean that up. But overall, it's a very exciting day for Rams fans and Los Angelinos everywhere as they finally got to celebrate a championship in this city, something they were unable to do when the Lakers and Dodgers won their championships just a few years ago. For Annenberg Media, I'm Noah Camras. Now here's Sade Moore, who has more on today's celebration.
Finally, a win and a celebration.
This right here, a celebration, all of us together, celebrating the victory of the Rams. Whose house Rams at? Whose house Rams at? Whose house Rams at? Woo!
Last Sunday, the Los Angeles Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium. And Angelinos say this is a long time coming.
It's great, especially in the past 4 years, won the Super Bowl twice and bring one home. Nothing better than that. Great feeling.
The parade begins at Shrine Auditorium and concludes at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum with a rally.
USC is just a perfect area. It's more room. It's more room out here. It's just a few minutes to park, a few minutes to walk, And after the parade, you get to enjoy the museum and look around and look at all the upgrades that LA has become.
This is the first championship parade Los Angeles has had in over a decade, since both the Lakers and the Dodgers had won their championships at the start of the pandemic in 2020.
A lot of us made it out today, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, the Lakers, Dodgers, I was really hyped for those too, but we were in our living rooms during a pandemic. It's a little different,
Though the parade is on the ground, some fans are still in shock and on a high from this weekend's dub.
I could float home to Albuquerque. If I float away, grab the string, okay?
And just like the fans, the Rams are too.
This is unbelievable to be out here today celebrating with you guys. It's an unbelievable journey we've been on. So many ups and downs, but you know what? You guys are right there with us, and we appreciate you every step of the way.
One thing for sure, California knows how to party. For Annenberg Media, I'm Sade Moore.
Rams fans came out in force for the parade, but the celebration caused delays around campus for some students. Annenberg Media's reporter Lupe explains how the festivities affected USC.
Today's victory parade brought people from all around, impacting the area of USC. Several streets were blocked off and prevented students from getting to class.
I think it's a slight inconvenience for people that have classes around this time.
Several in-person classes were either canceled or moved to Zoom.
So all of my classes got canceled today. One of them forgot to email me though, so I came to class. Ended up having to take the class online over Zoom, and now I'm having a difficult time getting home for my next class. I live at Gateway, University Gateway, so it's not too far, but I'm sure it's going to add an extra 10 minutes to the walk.
Another USC student ditched her car for the day and took the metro to avoid the traffic.
Knew that there was a lot of road closures, so I'm in Santa Monica, so I took the metro to get here, and since it's the first stop, it wasn't that bad.
While Zoom classes may be a nightmare for some students, others enjoy them.
I think both is okay because we can learn on Zoom and also learn in person. I think it's okay.
I just feel like it's good for the city. I think we needed an uplifting moment, and it's nice to see something like this bring everyone together.
So despite the virtual learning and road closures caused by the parade, it brought some fresh, new excitement to the city. For Annenberg Media, I'm Lupe Llerenas.
Just in time for the Victory Parade, LA lifted its outdoor mask mandate for big events. On top of that, the statewide indoor mask mandate is a thing of the past. Reporter Alena Botros has reaction to the changes.
Indoor masking is still required here at USC and across LA County. Montse Vega is a freshman. She thinks people should still wear masks.
Even though the rates are going down, I still feel that masks should be required in and out because you never know if another variant comes out, and we always want to be careful.
With the Omicron variant on the decline, a UC Irvine student agrees with the lifting of restrictions in Orange County.
So I am vaccinated, and I do have a booster against COVID-19. And I also don't live with people who are at high risk for mortality or severe illness. And so because of that, I'm not as worried about contracting the virus because I know I'm relatively protected against it. Now, that being said, I do still take other safety precautions to make sure that I can be as healthy as possible.
Even though California has lifted its mask mandate, USC's Chief Student Health Officer, Dr. Sarah Van Orman, says we're not there yet.
The good news is I think that our mask mandate will go away when the county provides that direction. We're feeling very confident that when the LA County mask mandate falls from a public health standpoint, we're going to be in a good place at a campus to also let that mandate fall and still have people safe in the classrooms.
For the indoor mask mandate to be lifted in LA County, there must be fewer than 50 cases per 100,000 residents over 7 straight days. So for now, USC students, staff, and faculty will need to wear masks indoors. For Annenberg Media, I'm Alena Botros.
Commencement is 3 months away, and for the class of 2022, there's a lot to prepare for. Many questions were answered today at USC's GradFest. Students were able to ask about regalia orders, class rings, custom announcement, and other graduation items. Trojans planning to walk can expect to spend big bucks on apparel, caps, and gowns. For undergraduates, the caps and gowns run $70, $90 for graduate students, and $110 for doctoral students. If you're feeling like you want to keep your cap and gown, the prices are a bit more, starting at $263 for undergrads and $457 for graduate students.
Kind of hard because not everyone checks their emails super frequently. So to be honest, I think my friends and we honestly really had no idea what to do for graduation. I got more information from friends than the actual email.
If you missed the GradFest today, don't worry, a recording will be available on the bookstore website in the coming days.
Metro will be temporarily reducing bus and rail services beginning Sunday. A shortage of drivers led to this decision. Several rail lines, including the Expo line right outside of USC, will run every 10 minutes instead of 8 minutes during rush hour. Midday and weekend services won't change. A USC student who uses Metrorail says the changes may negatively impact the community.
There are a lot of people isolated in different areas just because there's a lack of transportation. This is really the cheapest way to do so, and I feel like when you're limiting that resource, you're limiting the opportunity for people to be able to try new things and go new places and meet new people. So I think culture-wise it'll be a negative.
Bus lines will also be affected. Several lines, including ones surrounding USC, will be running 5 to 10 minutes less frequently, with the busiest lines running every 15 minutes.
What does diversity, equity, and inclusion mean to USC? We talked to the Chief Inclusion and Diversity Officer after his 1-year anniversary at USC.
An expert in social anxiety talks to us about how students can navigate this new pandemic reality.
And USC dining halls are helping students get ready for Ramadan. Find out about the significance of this campus collaboration.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again.
Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
USC's Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer has been on the job for a year now. In a one-on-one interview, Christopher Manning told us he now has a stronger focus on making students from all walks of life feel welcome.
From an institutional perspective, DEI is the recognition that the only way for us to be excellent at what we do is to be diverse, equitable, and inclusive. It's not an extra, it's not an afterthought. It is central to what we need to do to be the very best. And everyone at USC strives to be the very best. So as hard as it may be, if you are a small number within a large group, even as that small number, you're still contributing fundamentally to the betterment of the institution.
Manning also talked about 2 new projects available to the USC community. Trojans for Excellence has trained workers ready to help with any issues related to race, gender, and disability. The Search Advocates program makes it easier for students and staff to communicate about these issues. Students told us why these efforts are important.
Many people think that diversity, equity, and inclusion is just like a trend, or for them it feels like a trend, but it should be a permanent mainstay in our culture as a university.
I think it allows people who are maybe a minority, it gives them the voice and the chance to feel accepted in a society where they are a minority.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion takes a while to build up, and I've found, or at least I've realized that if you build diversity, equity, and inclusion really fast, or it's visible very fast, then it doesn't have as long as of a lasting impact.
Manning encourages students to speak up about their own experiences and to get involved with the university's DEI efforts.
The return to in-person learning introduces a handful of new challenges for Trojans, perhaps the most recent addition being social anxiety. Ella, what can you tell us about the uptick of social anxiety here on campus?
You're exactly right, Sydney. The pandemic has made it hard for some students to feel connected to the community here on campus. Alec Hendrickson joins me to help us better understand the symptoms of social anxiety and how to cope.
If I could shout something from the rooftops, it is that social anxiety is changeable.
How do we define social anxiety?
Sure. I think the umbrella definition is that social anxiety is a fear of being judged or criticized. There is quite a bit of social anxiety that has bubbled up in folks that would not have considered themselves to have social anxiety before. And I think quite honestly, it's just being rusty.
I am an extrovert. I get a lot of, just joy and connection from connecting socially. But I also have noticed a feeling of awkwardness or self-doubt, like you mentioned, in certain social situations in the classroom, at a party, that I never noticed before COVID.
And so I feel like that is kind of a uniquely pandemic-induced type of social anxiety. So perfectionism is another major driver. There is often a sense that we are supposed to meet these very high social standards. We're supposed to be cool or chill or funny or sound intelligent all the time.
When you say perfectionism, it sounds like you're saying it's coupled with imposter syndrome, and also just more generally trying to fit this mold of the should.
When we're having a socially anxious moment, our attention tends to turn inward. We start to question ourselves or second guess ourselves and say, did that come out weird? The average USC student who might be feeling kind of socially anxious can do a lot of things. And the biggest thing to do there is to very gently push ourselves to do the things that we are scared of. We learn, oh, that horrible thing I thought was going to happen didn't happen. Just facing our fears is the foundation of treating our own social anxiety.
Now, social anxiety looks different on everyone. So if you or a friend start to feel maybe uneasy in a social situation, try directing the attention to the people you're with or your surrounding environment. This could help turn down the volume and alleviate some of those anxious thoughts. And just remember throughout all of this that you aren't alone. Now, you're also not alone if you were freezing and shivering outside campus yesterday. Lupe, what was that all about? What's going on? What can we see in the forecast this week?
Ella, girl, let me tell you, it was cold yesterday, chilly, rainy, and clearly windy with those gusty winds. But today was a little slightly different. Current conditions right now is 60, still a little chilly compared to last week. But if we look at the forecast, look at this. Beautiful sunny day throughout the week. However, it's still somehow in the 60s, leading into the 70s, and then into the weekend we nicely get a little higher, and then we go back down. But if you are out and about, whether you were at GradFest or you checked out the parade, make sure you carry a light jacket because you're gonna need it, as you can see. And I myself carried a light jacket this morning. However, by the time that I went outside to the parade and checked it out, I was sweating coming back to the media center because I was just surrounded by so many people. But it was definitely so exciting, and it brought joy to me seeing so many people get together to celebrate the Super Bowl and, of course, the LA Rams. But with that, let's see what sports has in store for us. Let us know, Daniel.
Thanks, Lupe. A USC basketball alum looks to make history tonight in Chicago. Trojan soccer is back on the international stage, and it's a jam-packed week for the USC Trojans. Can the Trojans finally make their free throws? We'll find out in sports.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome to ATVN Sports. I'm Daniel Hailpern.
And I'm Sam Reno. We've got an action-packed weekend ahead at Galen Center. The 17th ranked men take on Washington tomorrow night, and the women host Utah on Friday. Both teams take the floor Sunday, with the women facing Colorado and the men rounding out the doubleheader action against Washington State. It's 4 games in 4 days at the house that Drew built this weekend. Daniel, should we expect an undefeated weekend from USC Hoops?
Well, for Drew Peterson and the Trojans, I think that we're coming off a huge win against the UCLA Bruins this past week without Isaiah Mobley. Hopefully we get our star back this week and go on a 2-0 sweep against the Washington schools with him back. On the women's side, I think we're going to split, go 1-1. Against Utah, I don't think we're going to win that game. We currently have a 3-10 record against the conference, whereas Utah is 6-5. They also are just coming off a good overtime win that always gives a little bit of momentum. Against Colorado, on the other hand, yes, we did lose to them in Boulder in early January, but going forward in the Galen Center, I do think that we get a win.
I mean, they may be 3-10 in conference, but look at these last 3 games, especially from Jordan Jenkins. 21 points at Utah, 29 points and 15 rebounds in a win at Washington, and another 18 and 12 at Washington State. Pair that with double-digit scoring performances from Marshall and Sanders in those same games. This USC women's team is starting to get consistent contributions from consistent players, and they'll have all that excitement around the final homestand of the season at Galen. I think the men get both those wins, and I think Jordan Jenkins' hot streak is going to carry USC women's hoops to another 2 wins as well. Undefeated weekend for me at Galen Center.
Well, from college to the pros, USC Hoops alum DeMar DeRozan has a chance to make history tonight against the Sacramento Kings. DeRozan is currently tied with Wilt Chamberlain for the most consecutive 35-point performances while shooting over 50% at 6 games. The 2009 Pac-10 tournament MVP is in the midst of the best season of his career. Averaging nearly 28, 5-5, the Bulls guard has led Chicago to the 2 seed in the East ahead of the All-Star break. Speaking of the All-Star game, DeRozan is appearing in his 5th of his career this weekend in Cleveland. He is well on his way to a first-team All-NBA nod as well for the first time for him. Sam, with this recent streak and the season as a whole, do you see DeMar as a legitimate MVP contender?
Well, Daniel, I think you and I both agree that to be a legitimate MVP candidate, you got to be top 5. So let's look. Giannis and Embiid, each averaging 29 and 11 on good teams. Jokic, nearly a triple-double on ridiculous efficiency. Chris Paul is the maestro behind a Suns team that's 47 and 10. That is the best record in the association by a country mile. And Steph Curry, got to be 5th for me. Despite his recent struggles, he's still bettering DeMar in almost every major statistical category other than points. The Bulls have been a great story, and so has DeMar, but that doesn't mean DeMar needs to be an MVP candidate.
Well, Steph definitely had that dip early in the season where DeMar has been really consistent throughout the whole season. He's leading his team to wins, as I was saying, 2nd in the East. He's hitting game-winning shots. And hey, a lot of the players on the Bulls are dealing with injuries, especially those guys from the other LA school. So hopefully, maybe the voters see a little bit. I'm not saying that he's up there with Jokic and Embiid. I do think those guys are definitely leading the pack, but don't count out DeMar just yet.
Well, sure, DeMar's Bulls have dealt with injuries, but so have Steph's Warriors, and they're still 5 games clear. But Curry lost his defensive standout, no Draymond Green, and they've still been putting together wins, and he's still putting up numbers despite the ups and downs. I don't think there's any way you can put DeMar DeRozan in this MVP conversation. USC soccer standout Simone Jackson was named to the U20 U.S. Women's National Team on Tuesday. The All-Pac-12 attacker is one of 20 players representing the United States at the upcoming U20 CONCACAF Championship in the Dominican Republic. The American U20s are looking to win their 7th straight North American title and lock up a spot in the 2022 U20 World Cup. With so many Trojan products breaking through in youth national teams over this winter, I still think Simone Jackson has the best chance to break through with the senior team. Still yet to turn 20, she's already an All-Pac-12 honoree, and she's got that clutch gene. Down 2 goals at the half against Stanford, she puts in a goal and an assist to lead them back to keep them in the Pac-12 title hunt. And in the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament against Penn State, she sent McAllister Field into a frenzy, scoring a screamer from outside the 18 to tie that game up as well. Eli, who do you think has the best chance to break through with the U.S. national team?
As talented as Simone Jackson is, for me it's got to be Croy Bethune. She was the most talented player on this USC team last season. She also earned all Pac-12 honors. She led the team in goals and assists despite playing alongside Penelope Hawking. She easily dribbles through the midfield and has one of the best shots on the team. She is a dangerous player to stop. I wouldn't be surprised if she makes it to the national team sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, Eli. But let's go back to the hardwood, where I believe you have an update from the free throw line.
Thanks, Sam. It has been a struggle for USC from the line. Neither the team nor the fans have been able to take the lid off the basket. That includes our fabulous sports director, Nicole Sheeran. As DJ Malski says, she has a bright future, just not shooting a basketball. You're the best, Nicole. Don't let it get to your head. Back to you, Sam.
See some improvements at the line from our fearless leader, but that wraps it up for sports. Prepping for Ramadan is never too early. A USC Muslim Student Union member talks to us about how dining halls are teaming with them for the celebration. And we bring you some of the memorable moments of the Rams LA parade coming up next.
Tus manos limpias estarán. Lávate las manos por 20 segundos como Elmo.
Hay algo especial acerca de este lugar. Se siente como un hogar, una sala debajo del cielo y los árboles. Rodeado de aire fresco y la naturaleza. Todo aquí para que lo disfrutemos y para que lo cuidemos. Tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidar de esta tierra que llamamos casa, de preservarla para las generaciones que vienen. Cada acción pequeña contribuye para un cambio mayor y cada uno de nosotros podemos hacer la diferencia. Hay algo especial acerca de este bosque. Es un lugar donde se hacen recuerdos y juntos podemos preservarla y protegerla.
If you celebrate Ramadan, EVK Dining Hall is making it easy for students to pick up a meal during this sacred time. You can grab to-go breakfast boxes from April 2nd to May 2nd during sundown at EVK using your meal swipe or debit card. We spoke to a Muslim Student Union Board member about how USC is helping students observe this month.
Meal then before our fast begins, especially given the fact that USC actually proposed this themselves even before we had the chance to approach them. That definitely is something that we appreciate. That's something that we respect.
According to the USC Office for Religious Life, there are more than 1,000 Muslim students who take part in Ramadan each year.
For many people in Los Angeles, today is one they'll never forget. Annenberg Media's Jillian Carmenate captured the moments of today's Rams Parade and celebration. Let's take a look. Cassie, those photos were so amazing. I really wish I was there today.
I know, me too, but all of the streets were blocked out. It was so hard to get out there, but I know the crowds were huge and everyone was super excited.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Sydney Charles.
And I'm Cassie Esparza. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night.